So our special guest tonight is Dr. G. Rex Kruhly. He is the founder of Depth Healing and Quantum Energy Healing. He is a pioneer in quantum energy healing and the founder of Depth Healing, a revolutionary healing system that integrates ancient wisdom with cutting-edge quantum science. With over 5 decades of dedicated experience in martial arts, meditation, and spiritual practices, Dr. G has refined his ability to access and clear deep seated energetic blockages that conventional methods often overlook. Through his depth healing technology, Dr. G harnesses applied quantum physics and morphic field physics to transform the lives of individuals globally. As someone who has faced numerous adversities throughout his life, including severe emotional trauma, health challenges, and financial struggles, he understands the importance of rewiring our unconscious mind to achieve true success and well being. So, without further ado, let us welcome our special guest tonight, Dr. G. Rex Kruhly. Please forgive me if I did not pronounce your last name correctly.
You see me because I don't see myself.
Yes, we
Okay,
can. Yes, we can see
this
you.
is a different setup than I've ever seen before.
Yeah, we can see you, Doctor.
Okay, okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. How may I be of service?
Okay, great. So I'll let Gabriella have the first take, and she's gonna have some questions for you, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay,
Pleasant night to you, and it's really a pleasure to have you on our program tonight. So we're gonna just ask
you're
you a few
welcome.
questions, just be open with us and be as real as possible. Yeah.
Okay, yep,
See,
sounds good.
our team is From Trauma to Triumph. What is the critical difference between surviving trauma and really truly triumphing over trauma? Is there a difference?
So your question is the difference between surviving and being triumphant
Yes,
over it?
and truly triumphing over trauma.
Okay, well, surviving trauma is like last year, for instance, I was in a big, massive car crash,
Mm,
and all through 2024, I basically couldn't walk
Hmm.
at all. I was in so much agony with neuropathy, nerve pain, because of it hurt me quite a bit. So surviving the trauma is simply carrying on,
mm,
and the trauma. When you're surviving a trauma, you're making it by, but you're suffering, and you keep going. That's the way I think of surviving trauma. To be triumphant is to learn the lessons from the trauma, integrate the lessons, and also remove the trauma. That's what I do with depth healing. So a good case is, say, post-traumatic stress syndrome. When they see me, I don't give them drugs, and we don't just talk about it. I remove it.
mm,
So and that then they're triumphant. You learn the lesson, but the energy, the emotional damage, that can be removed, and that's what I do. Or you could go to, say, another good system that's been proven for decades is rapid eye desensitization. And let's say you have somebody that's been sexually or satanically tortured,
yeah.
and the rapid eye desensitization, or in my case, mine's much easier because you don't have to come to my office. I just do it wherever you are in the world. I just remove it. When I remove it, you can think of, if you want to think about that issue, being tortured or whatever happened, you can remember it, but it will have no emotional overlay or effect no physiologic problem, nothing. It just is gone. And then you're triumphant. But the trick with trauma is everything has a reason for happening.
Yeah.
And the trick is to learn the lesson. If you learn the lesson, then you're triumphant because you grow.
Yes.
If you don't grow, and you can be in. I was in states of bitterness and anger for like 30 years,
Wow.
and
Oh.
it gave me cancer. I had breast cancer and I had to cut that out of me, and that's from anger.
Yeah.
And the anger was, so the trauma was happened when I was 6 years old. It was a big emotional hit.
Yeah.
That emotional hit changed the direction of my life, but it also hurt me really bad and made me very angry. I could never understand. It took me, I'm almost 70 now, and eventually I was able to understand this stuff. But during all those years, if you know what epigenetics is,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so the epigenetics of that anger took a little pocket of fat in me and transformed it into a slow growing little pocket of cancer.
Yeah.
The lesson was very easy for me to fix. I didn't have to take any medicine or anything. We just cut it and it's gone. But the trick was learning about the anger and the removal of the anger and the removal of the cause of the anger. So that's the bucket work. And with something like depth healing, I'm able to do it quite fast
Awesome.
because of depth healing is enormously powerful system, and then you can remove it. Years of therapy can be done in a matter of hours or days.
Wow.
That's the difference.
Awesome. Thank you for that in-depth
Wow.
explanation. And
That's
there's
a
so
lot.
many things you said there.
Yeah.
I don't know which direction to go with my question. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. Let me go back a little bit to those moments when you would have experienced that trauma. A lot of times, persons believe that the trauma just disappears over years. But you are saying in
Yeah.
that moment you would have had anger for 30 years. So how did you at that point overcome, or what did you do in terms of rewiring your brain? At the point in time you would not have been rewiring it, but how was your brain wired? What was your mindset, your emotional state, your mental state during those traumatic experiences, health challenges, the financial struggles, the emotional trauma that you would have faced?
So you said a whole bunch of stuff. So
Yes.
when you have a trauma, there's nothing so wrong or mistaken as
Yeah.
thinking that the trauma's gone. It's not gone at all.
Yeah.
I get thousands of clients from all over the world, and they'll start talking to me. They're coming to me in their 40s or 50s, their late 30s, and they'll say, I start to go through whatever their issue is now. Let's say it's a marital issue or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, we start looking at their, and they'll say, well, I had this happen to me. That was 20, 30 years ago. That's all. I took care of all of that. I had therapy, and that's all gone. And nothing's gone at all. So when I look in their system, their system is jam packed with fear, anger, sadness, grief.
Mm.
All of those, they're all frequencies, and the trauma. Everything. First of all, everything is a frequency. Everything.
Yeah.
Whether you're looking at air or if you can see air, or whatever, it doesn't make any difference what it is. So when you have a
Wow. So I must let folks know that he is coming from Thailand, right? And
Yeah.
it's about 9 past 7 a.m. in the morning there. and hence the reason why we are getting that sort of delayed transmission from him, and now it's gone. So he's gonna have some problems, maybe, or some challenges, but he should be back in a minute. But what he just told us in his first response and part of his second response kind of reminds me of so many things that we heard before, including from what's his name, Sir Evans.
Sevens, yeah.
Wow, how he
Mm,
gone to that grief for such a long time, and nobody told him that he didn't have to. He could move from there.
yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't
Yes.
understand it, and it brought pain, it brought anger. He was 525 pounds overweight because of. I mean, it. That's mind. Okay, so I think he's getting back. That's mind-boggling.
He's bad.
Yeah. Uh,
Mm,
and the weather does not help either, Gabriela.
yeah.
The
So
weather.
that's keeping him back a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. All the way from Thailand. It's a long way to have that transmission coming through. So we were very
Somebody
fortunate.
else we had on the program that spoke about energy, trying to remember who.
Oh, that is what's her name?
Yeah.
Christine, Christiane. I can't remember her last name. But the other
Yeah, she
is,
had.
yeah, you are back on with us. We lost you for a moment, but you're back on now.
Yeah, yeah. The everything went dead. Well, anyway, what I was trying to say is, people think that time heals. No, no, not at all. So that's how you get the cancer, or because that energy wants to be energy wants to be removed.
Hmm.
Your body and mind and everything wants it out, and so it'll try to tell you that it's there.
Mm.
It'll
Okay.
give you pain or sickness or something,
Yeah.
but we don't see it.
Mm.
Generally, we don't. People are unaware, and then especially nowadays, because of the way life is so complex, and they've engineered everything to keep you putting out fire, putting out fires, putting out fires until you die. So you don't have time to pay any attention to yourself,
Mm,
and then so eventually the voice will get bigger. You get a cancer, and if you find the reason for the cancer, you can heal the cancer. If you don't find the reason and you cut it out of you, it'll come back.
Wow.
It comes back with people all the time. Takes a little while, usually about 5 years, epigenetically, but it wants to be healed. So what happened to me when I was 6 years old? I was a little kid in Windsor, Ontario, and they failed me. Teacher hated me, horribly hated me. I was
mm,
just a little guy, and they failed me at the age of 6. And that humiliated my father. He didn't know how to handle that emotionally. He's a good, very fine man, but he didn't know how to handle that. And I was his first son, his boy. And so the family uh, emotionally abandoned me for the rest of my life.
Wow.
From that day, going forward, I was unseen, unheard, and unanything at home, and my life changed from when I was the first son. So everyone loved me very, very much.
yeah.
When the school tried to say I was retarded and everything, and then I was humiliated at school. Now that's a crucial time. See, your brain does not, the frontal cortex of the human brain
Yeah.
does not activate until you're 7.
7. That's correct. That's correct. Yeah.
So I was just at the end of my 6th year of life. I was still in theta brainwave pattern,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a huge 180-degree turn from being loved and wanted to being invisible.
Yeah.
and humiliated and so I didn't understand anything, and the school hated me. The next, it was 3 lady teachers, I think, in a row, and they all hated me. The one lady took me outside. I remember she took me out into the hall, and she grabbed me by the neck and said I was a terrible, horrible kid, and everything. And so it was. I got mad, and then the older boys. I was a little guy, so there was, the older boys. They could push you around or beat you up, and I was always scared to death at school. And then on television, I always noticed that the guys that were loved and respected were fighters. So I became a fighter. By the 8th grade, I could knock the living hell out of anything on 2 feet. Nobody could take me. And that's the way and now the trick was I was fighting because I was scared. I was always scared. Then by grade 8, I was the toughest guy in the school, no problem. Then I had to go to high school. High school is a different ball game again. And I started training in martial art at the age of 13. By 18, I was a elite world professional. And then I've trained. I can't train now because I'm still healing the nerves in my back. But I've got over 50,000 hours on the mats in Aikido alone, and another 26 years of professional Zen sword on top of that. I'm not a commercial martial artist. I'm a real martial artist. Not a no. I train the United States Special Forces, Marines, Force Recon. Later on when I moved to California, where I had my big dojo, and then that's where I became a professional. And then I lost the dojo. That was a big trauma. They took it away from me in like 24 hours. The landlord died. His son came in, broke the lease. I lost all my work, everything I had, and I was homeless like overnight. Now that took me over 20 years to get over that, because I didn't think anything could take my dojo. That was a different kind of trauma. So meanwhile, all of that stuff was inside me. As always, and my way of dealing with hurt was always anger. So there was a tremendous amount of anger energy in me, regardless of becoming a doctor and helping people. I'm not a bad man. And luckily, I never, the divine always kept me out of real trouble. I never hurt. I was a bouncer in Detroit for years. I worked under the table to help put myself through university. I went back to university as an older man after I broke my back in half when I was 27, and we had to fix that. No operation. I self-healed that with the meditation and master chiropractor. So through the years, I was always apprenticing under great master doctors, because I would get these enormous injuries. And during those huge injuries, I was learning how to self-heal. I was learning what it means to suffer, because as a doctor, if I don't know the suffering my client has, how am I supposed to help him?
Good.
I have to have the empathy, and I have to have a soft heart. So there was a certain point there where the anger finally, when I became a doctor, I moved to Georgia. I met Dr. Larry Habersky, the great master that I apprenticed under for 8 years. He's the one and the only one who knew about the cognitive dissonance, how to erase it. He worked on me once a week to 3 times a week for 8 years. And we were getting rid of my poverty consciousness, the anger. My anger wasn't just anger. It was like inside was like rage. That's why it made the cancer. And of course, it happened on the right side of my body, right side of your body. from the center line over is the future, from today, the future. From the center line left side is the past. So it was on the right side because I had so much stress. Marriage was a homunculus. I had no success financially all those years. All of that was changed, and then, of course, I had concurrently I had a spiritual life, and I'm like this name says, depth healing. I will not have any part of anything that's either inauthentic or is superficial. Nothing. I won't have anything to do with anything that's superficial. So when I go in, I go in. And spirituality was a heavy duty. I always use the word professional, means that's all I do. And it was Japanese Zen, martial craft, tasawwuf. I did 4 years of heavy real Sufism under the Great Sheikh, who was the Mufti of Cyprus till he passed away. And that was a mystic's life. Then I left them 1996. And now I serve the Great Compassionate Light directly. All of my empowerments as a healer, I have empowerments through Tibet, empowerments through India, and empowerments through Japan. That's how I do my mystic side. And then I was a licensed doctor in Georgia and Tennessee. And then when the divine showed me how to be a distance healer, they introduced me to depth healing. You can't go to school and learn depth healing. This is a channeled system that was shown to me, and it's a marriage between the mystic side with the divine and quantum physics on this side, and then the two go together.
Mm.
Does that make sense? I think I'm
Yes.
drifting there.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot that you fed to us there.
Yeah, Gabriella, there's also a comment from
Yes.
Yeah, I see somebody down there. Hello.
I'll let her read it out for you.
Okay, so she said,
She's-
Mom says it's true, going through trauma and coming out triumphantly, you really have to learn the lesson. Don't bring your past
Yeah.
into your present to affect your future. Many people don't know how to deal with situations because it comes and it catches you unaware, so you are surprised, but after going through, you grow through and look back and say, I have overcome this chapter in your life by the grace of God. Keep giving him your burdens. Yeah.
Wow.
Woo.
Amazing. So we're gonna catch our breath a little bit, and I want Dexter to give us the thought of the week. We're not gonna miss it like we did
Last week.
last episode. So we're gonna get back to you in a moment, Dr. Grant. We're just gonna read the thought of the week for the moment, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, stand by for a moment.
I just want you to know the pretty girl down on the bottom of my screen is frozen.
Oh, okay.
You're not frozen, and Gabriella's not frozen. I can't see the other lady. I'm afraid to touch my screen in
That's
case I lose you again.
Okay, so that's a video we have lined up that's gonna come on soon.
Okay.
Yeah. So the thought of the week says, when we invest in ourselves, we are setting the pace for personal success. Let me repeat that. When we invest in ourselves, we are setting the pace for personal success. That's the thought of the week, beautiful people.
Hmm.
Thank you for joining us and being with us. So, Dr. Grant, you have
Yeah.
a situation where you had to restart your life on at least 5 occasions.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine the average person having the strength nor the necessary mindset or the resources to do that. But how did you manage to reset your life on at least 5 occasions? What kind of mental, emotional capacity requires that so that it can be successful?
Yeah. You know, I'm having to rebuild my life right now because I have to rebuild my entire body from the ground up. That's why I moved across Thailand to this city where I am, because there's these two genius chiropractors of an incredible level, and they're actually remaking my entire spine.
Wow.
So that has the, and it's, you know, I'm almost 70. So to answer your question, I'm going to say that, like, for instance, my pathway, I incarnated specifically to do what I got to do, which is helping the world, helping society,
Yeah.
help save people. That's why I can do morphic field physics.
Okay.
Who the hell ever heard of morphic field physics? So what that means is, if I have, say, you know, when you see a football stadium and it's jam packed, I can with morphic field physics, relative to a single question. Now, please understand that I'm able to clear the consciousness of the entire stadium at the same time, relative to a single question. Now, that doesn't mean, and I don't want you to misunderstand, that I'm saying I have any kind of power. I have nothing at all.
Right.
I am strictly a specific kind of channel. That's what I do. I'm a channel. Now, how do I change my whole life 5 times? I think you're born with, some of us are born with a particular sense of mission and drive. That's why the military love me. I love the military. Nothing's going to stop me.
Okay.
I have to accomplish whatever I have to accomplish. So when I moved here to Thailand, the divine showed me to move to Thailand. I never ever in my life dreamed of living in Thailand at all. I don't. And then when I had the my fifth program is from the age of 7 until whatever age we are at any point in our life. It's adult life. And my 5th program was rewritten in the sacred chambers in Atlanta, Georgia, at Dr. Rossi McClellan's home. She used to host the sacred chambers. Well, anyway, I didn't know that anything had been rewritten. All I knew was I went into sort of a state of bliss that I think lasted about 2 days. And then events all happened very quickly, and in a matter of months, I was leaving America, leaving my marriage, leaving everything, and moving to Thailand. Now, I don't speak Thai, still can't, and didn't know anybody or have anything. I just land, and then I built my new life here. And now, by that time, see, I was the divine, and my cognitive dissonance for being poor was gone. My bond with the divine was very strong, and very fast, everything I went into is into wealth. My reputation as a doctor spread across the world, and everything's been. I live strictly by grace. Everything's all set. But see, I had to go through this big car crash. How do I get the car crash? I was driving home and passed out. Drove off the freeway, down a hill. The police told me this later. I have no memory at all.
Wow.
I'm in an older car. I didn't know that we didn't have an airbag. I smashed through 5 trees and went nosedived into a canal.
Wow.
I was laying in the water approximately, from what the police say, 3 hours. And I woke up the next day on a gurney in a hospital way the hell over in Chiang Mai, in the city. I lived out in the country. And no broken bones, nothing. The only thing it did, it bent my nose, but I can breathe. No, I didn't even have a cut, nothing. Car was completely destroyed. It took 2 cranes to pull me out of the canal. The guy said, police. We had to backtrack everything, find out where because I had no memory of any. Why would that happen? Well, there's a lot of reasons why it happened. One, to find those 2 great doctors that could unbend my spine. See, I had from all my injuries through the years, I have a spine that's just a mess. Real heavy scoliosis, like 30 years.
Wow.
This guy here, Dr. Pong, actually straightened my spine with his hands. Now I'm a chiropractor. I studied under all the greatest chiropractors in the entire world. George Goodhart Jr., founder of Applied Kinesiology, Donald Epstein, founder of Network Chiropractic, Ted Morter, founder of Bioenergetic Synchronization. I've never seen anybody like these 2 guys here in Pattaya. Now, how did I find them? I live in Chiang Mai. If I didn't, what I'm trying to say, long story short, is if you look at your traumas in your life and you backtrack it, you'll find that it was all by grace. This was because of that, which led me to this. That's why I met this person. Like I met the man that's my new administrative, senior administrative assistant. He's my dear friend. I met him here. I'd have never met him if I never was here. I would never have found Dr. Pong and Dr. Nung if I didn't have my retirement visa from Pattaya. I would have never located these guys these 2 friends of mine that are helping me advance step healing now to the world. They're very amazing, great men, awesome men, professional musicians, both of them, brilliant businessmen, and just really lovely guys. And also my own age. All of it went together. Now, I went through the worst suffering I've ever been in my entire life. Why? I need my heart to soften more. The world's in big trouble. We're that close to complete annihilation, and people are suffering everywhere. People are scared to death. AI is. People think AI is so great. AI is not great. They're going to find that out in a big hurry in the next 5 years. So that my work's important, and I've got to have a softer heart. When you're really suffering, it takes the ego out of you in a hurry. I used to think I was tough till I couldn't walk 5 feet to go to the bathroom.
Wow.
And I'm alone. My wife, my beautiful wife, is working to help her family in Norway. So I lost the use of my right arm. I couldn't walk. I got the crutches, and then I had all my clients. Only thing that kept me going was my clients, because it took me nearly 2 hours to get out of the bed.
Wow.
So I started 4. First client was at 8 in the morning, and I had to fill myself up with pain medication and try to get around, and so it softened me up, took the ego out of me. I never knew what neuropathy. When you hear someone say they have sciatica, I used to think, okay, so you have sciatica, do some massage on the piriformis muscle and do this or do that. Oh, sciatica can be life-changing.
Yeah.
So everything has a reason. And then your original question, nothing going to stop me. I was born to do what I got to do. and that's all there is to it. So if I gotta, whichever way I'm gonna, whatever way I gotta go, I'm going.
Okay, wonderful. Amazing, amazing, amazing response. So we're gonna get everybody to take a break now, and Dex, you can run.
Okay.
Yeah, you can run that video with Phoebe Trotman, one of our supporters and our friend, as she tells us about her experience and what she thinks about our production of breaking out of depression. Yeah.
Okay.
They're doing with their broadcast. One of the things that stood out to me is that they truly care. They are there every single Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, sharing what they have gone through, their experiences. They have guests who have gone through real challenges, and those guests are sharing what they've done to push through those challenges. And but one of the things that the reason I want to encourage you to tune in is because it helps you realize you're not alone. There is a community of people who care. There are people out there who've gone through challenges, and they're sharing what they did to push through. And so it's a show of hope. It's a show of encouragement. It's also a show where you can learn a tip or two to help you along your journey. So I encourage you, again, tune in every single Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. They have a great lineup of guests. They share their experiences, and I know it will help you through your journey. So I wanted to wish you continued success, good health, and many blessings in 2024 and beyond.
That's beautiful. Phoebe Trotman out of Canada, originally from Barbados, one of our
Oh,
guests and our supporters. Amazing. Yeah. So, Gabriella, back to you.
Thank you, Andy. And thank you so much to our guest who is really shocking us with the amount of
Oh,
stories. All
wow.
I'm seeing is purpose, purpose,
Yes,
purpose.
yes,
God,
yes.
God. It had to be God. It have to be purpose that would have led you here. And
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that part where you said, that the trauma is like a chain event where it teaches you something along the way. And persons would not
oh,
look at trauma in that way. So it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Um, but do you see, with your trademark, the depth healing, do you see room for the normal conventional therapy? Or is it that you think that it could complement each other? Or do you think that what is overlooked in the therapy room that makes depth
what
healing?
kind of give me an example? When you say therapy, what do you
Like
mean? Like
counseling. Like we say, we have
counseling?
counseling persons for trauma. What would depth healing be in terms of that? Do you see it working hand in hand, or do you see what are some of the overlooked areas that normal traditional counseling may overlook when it comes to trauma?
Yeah. Well, if you once you understand what the nature of the brain, how the brain works and the mind works, and
Yeah.
we have in science now they have a real good understanding of that. Regular therapy, you can do it for a little bit, but it's mostly useless. And here's why. Think of therapy like when I'm teaching people. I'm teaching a collective the end of this week, and I'm going to be a part of it. It's how to design their life going to end this year and then start the new year, right? And what we call is reframing.
Yeah.
You take cognition and you reframe things, and
Yeah.
when you reframe it, you can change your it changes your perception to a certain degree. But see, the way the subconscious mind works, it's running everything. Okay, everything, and the subconscious mind doesn't belong to you or to me or to anybody. We're designed that way. For the first 6 years to the age of 7, the subconscious mind is recording data at 40 million bits of information per second. It started doing that when you were still in mom's womb. All of that information and all of that detail and data forms the software that is running when you open your eyes, you have about 11 million sensory receptors. 10 million of them are just as allotted to your eyes. You don't see, nothing you see is real. What we see is what we are. We don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. The light goes into your eyes and it goes through something like 17 different areas of the brain before it even forms the image. So that if you want to look at all of the latest cutting edge neurology, they have this all down in detail, and they got, they have all of the definitions and everything. But so when you're in therapy, you're just using the frontal cortex. So you say one story, and then the therapist says the other story, or he listens. That's all great, but it's just a cerebral loop. And the cerebral loop, every word he says or every word you say is tied to another story. And the story, because everything's entangled. That's why when they come to see me, we don't relive stories. We remove the story. And then when I disassemble it, disassembling means I have to remove the entanglements in your consciousness relative to what shows up in your consciousness. These earplugs, they irritate me so much.
Yeah.
You'd think they could design one that will fit your ear, but in any case,
My goodness.
in entanglements, like for instance, I'm trying to think of a real easy way to say this. Let's say you're in mom's womb. So you go to a therapist now. You're at the age you are, whatever your age is, and you're going to go see a therapist. And they want to. You're afraid of dogs for some reason, and your children want, or your grandchildren, whoever wants a dog, but you're so afraid of a dog, and you'd like to get rid of it, so you go to the therapist. Well, with depth healing, what I'm going to find is where the first original download occurred that formed the foundation of the fear of a dog. And as I'm looking through, I find it in your third, we call the third program, which is from conception, when dad's sperm enters mom's egg, through mom, the birthing process, and the first 6 hours after you're born. And what we find is during your third trimester, mom went out on the porch to go to the car.
Oh, man.
In the middle of that story, I want you have me intrigued here.
I did some of that in my official capacity as a life and development coach.
Mm-hmm.
Tells you basically the same thing. Unearth the beginning of the deposit of the story that the person is struggling with. Remove it and give them different versions of a new story that they can now choose for themselves. That's when people become empowered. And
Yeah,
it's no simi-dimi or magic. It's just how the human mind works. That's how the brain is wired.
yeah,
He's talking about in the frontal cortex. That's the main part of where you gather all your information and make choices and decisions. What he didn't tell us is that there's the vagus nerve, and that vagus nerve, VAGUS, is responsible for bringing peace and calm and neutrality to our subconscious minds, that then goes into your conscious mind and tells you what you may have perceived as danger is not really danger at all. All right. But he's more qualified to do the specifics. I'm just really scratching most of the
this
surface.
is this.
If you
Hence
really
why it's in depth.
want to help people, Gabriella, you got to do some deep conditioning work with them. They have to go to the very beginning of the trauma, the source of the trauma, where
Yeah,
it happened, root it out, and start afresh again. And that's normally where the hard work comes in.
Yeah.
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 I'm sure you would have seen some of that in some of your counseling sessions.
Yeah, I mean, when we're dealing with anything traumatic, yeah, we go back to childhood experiences. There's something called a ACEs test, which we normally
Right.
do,
Yeah.
and we go back to see how far the trauma would have been triggered from.
Yeah.
And even as he's speaking about, I mean, we may not go back into the womb, but
That's
a lot
right.
of times we realize too that a lot of trauma happens there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes, let's say a mother, she's pregnant and she's in an abusive relationship, she's getting kicked up and all these things is happening. We think that the child is not aware because the child in the belly and
Ooh,
whatnot, but actually the child is also on the receiving end of that. So it may not be present when the child is born. The child will be good, whatever, and then during as the child gets older, as he talks about, is the 7 year period. So all those things would have been gathering in the child's mind, and then you realize in the primary school setting, the child started to misbehave a particular way. And then in the secondary school, and you're wondering, but where does come out from? Yeah, the trauma from quite then.
yeah.
So I can understand. I can understand where he's going.
I
Yes.
don't know.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're
you're
on.
Okay,
on.
so what I was
Wow.
Whoa.
And he actually looks clearer in this part here.
Yeah, that's true. Oh,
Okay,
there
he's
we go
coming
again.
back on. Yeah.
Oh,
We lost him now.
back and
Yeah,
forth.
so I can understand, going back, it's important, but sometimes I think with his practice is different because he's not re-traumatizing. So sometimes in the counseling field, going back may actually re-traumatize persons because they have to go back through this experience, they have to talk about it. He's removing it from the
Yeah.
system altogether. So that's the difference. So I can understand that level of thing. But in terms of the mind, like, it kind of erases everything. Is it that the way he speaks is like it erases the trauma and like you would not remember what occurred? That's a tricky thing with me.
Yeah. Based on my little knowledge, I'm not the expert here, people.
Yeah,
You do not remember the trauma that it caused.
yeah,
See, he
yeah.
removes the effects of the trauma. That's what he's really referring to.
The effects. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, the incident may be somewhere in your subconscious, but what happens is that, and this is what normally forms pain and inflammation, and I would have
yes,
spoken about that in one of
yes.
our episodes. If you harbor things like resentment and hurt
And anger.
and
Yeah,
anger and unforgiveness and
unforgiveness is a big thing. Yeah,
and you keep that there in your system, it's an energy that's looking for an escape. And sometimes it formulates in a certain part of your body, and then you get pains and you get illnesses, you get disease, you get sickness. People don't understand how real this is.
yeah,
And at the end of the day, if you didn't get closure and come to a place where you had relief, healing, a total wipeout, as you would say, of the effects of that trauma, so that you remove that inflammation, that power that it wants to get out, you're going to be in trouble.
yeah. And it's going to resurface again, and you're going to realize why is it happening again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yes, welcome back, Dr. G. We're here. We're hearing you. Are you hearing us?
Can can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a shame we're having so much trouble, but
Yeah.
this is
Absolutely.
the basis. This is really important. So mom gets traumatized. You're inside her tummy. Now you are experiencing everything mom's experiencing, but at a detail of 40 million bits of information per second. So entangled with the dog is maybe, might be wind or rain outside, or it might have been sunny. There might have been smells. Everything is all taken in, and it's in your subconscious mind. So when you come to see me and I go to the first original download, that is where the foundational download occurs. And then I go to that one and I disintegrate it. I disintegrate it and disassemble it, and all the entanglements that will show up in your consciousness at that time relative to that question. See, it's all being fed through you. And I disassemble it using destructive and constructive interference waves. Once I take that thing out and it's gone forever. And at that time, every time I'm doing frequency, your brain and your entire consciousness field is reorganizing, and everything is changing. It's changing perception. Then I trace all of the downloads relative to the fear of a dog or dogs all the way up past the age of 7. Every single one. And I can locate them surgically. Surgical precision. That's one of the keys. Once I do that and I get past the age of 7, I come up to the age you are now. And I find out if there's any active program anywhere in your consciousness on any level that is still creating or supporting fear of dogs. I find it, I disassemble it, and I remove it. And then, no more fear of dogs. Done. End of story. That's very different than sitting with a therapist and talking about this story and that story, and then every time you say a word, every time you open your eyes, all of the, it's like a subconscious mind, like a giant keyboard, and everything touches a key. So it's all perceptions, values, stories, and it's all tied together. So when you're talking to the therapist, it's like Eckhart Tolle will say, it can be very interesting, and you can do it for 30, 40 years, but that doesn't mean you're going to. Don't mistake understanding or knowledge for consciousness. Consciousness and knowledge have no relation at all. Nothing. Consciousness is the one that can see a thought. Thoughts can't see thoughts. So regular therapy you can do for a little bit. If you're going to get any value out of it, it's nice for reframing, and you can give it meaning. But after that, if you want to really heal, you come to see me, or you see somebody that has something similar, like a real good hypnotherapist. The difference with me is I can do it wherever you are. You don't have to come to my office. I don't need any kind of specialized, you don't need specialized circumstances. It's nice if I can see you online till I know you. And you shouldn't be driving a car or something like. It's nice if you can be focused. But other than that, I can do it right away. Did I answer your question? Do you see the difference?
Yeah, I'm seeing the difference. Yes.
The story, trying to heal that way, like actual healing, it's doesn't work too well. If it worked really well, everybody would all be feeling great.
True. But would you have ever experienced a time where you're going through the time with them, going through those moments and those foundational times when persons would have wherever the trauma would have started? Do you ever, or would you have ever experienced a time where persons went through the process and was re-traumatized, or persons it was just wiped down from their memory?
Do you know what scalar frequencies are?
No.
Yeah, I am familiar with them.
I one time before COVID, I bought a scalar frequency machine, and I highly recommend tremendous care and caution with that stuff.
Yes.
I had a client of mine, a beautiful woman in Hollywood, in LA. I'm in Thailand. And this was a lady that had been, can almost say, almost like satanically tortured from being a little infant all through. And there's a tremendous amount of torture and all kinds of stuff. And she was my client, and I was working on her. And then I bought this scalar thing. Now, what is scalar? My frequencies, I have hundreds and hundreds of frequencies, and I have control over using the frequency for what. So it's all by resonance. And my frequencies that are selected from the client, not from my brain. The scalar machine, what it does is it's able to broadcast a frequency that you set it at, and then it'll just broadcast that. So I wanted to send this lady like unconditional love 24 hours a day, right? So I set the thing up with her to just start transmitting that frequency. That was a big mistake, because what it did was it opened up Pandora's box, and she wasn't ready for Pandora's box. There was things in there, and she called me up, and she was reliving horrific suffering and reliving it. And I had to took me about an hour to get that, take that out of her and calm her down. I shut that machine off, and then I understood the difference between someone like myself, where I'm the client is telling me what frequency to use and when and how, and which chakra to send it to, which is associated with the specific areas in the brain where things, there's a lot to it. And when they just do those general frequencies, if you know, they'll say, go up to this frequency and your whole body will heal. If that was true, everybody would all, like I say, everybody all be in la la land. So with depth healing, to answer your question, the most I ever get is, and I always encourage my clients, if they feel like crying, and a lot of times I cry with them, and you just cry. And what happens is it's really lovely to watch. They'll be crying, and then it just comes down, down, down. And by the time it's disassembled, they feel wonderful. Mm. And then I have the empowerment and permission to do prayer, and I give Diksha from the divine, and that's between God and them, their God and them. But I have the permission and empowerment, and then I end the sessions like that, so that they receive grace. And so no, it's not like you have to relive. Not with my system. You don't have to relive. Like I say, mostly because I have them in their consciousness. Their eyes are closed. I have them go back.
Yeah. And
try to picture themselves in that situation, especially post-traumatic stress syndrome. And then, they'll cry, and then just disappears. And that's why I love my work. I'm very grateful.
Yes, we can hear your passion.
Yeah, I never dreamed, when I was just a regular chiropractor, and I had studied all kinds of different healing systems through the years and stuff, but I never dreamed of any of this. It's
purpose.
It's really cool.
It is.
It's really cool.
I'll leave the last question for Andy.
We don't have any time for the last question. Um, it's been
What
really
is?
amazing thing that we can be on this side of the world and you quite in Thailand.
Yes, although the
Yeah,
disconnection, we were still able to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
We still
Thank
get
God.
to.
I've really been enjoying you guys. I felt bad when they cut us off.
That's all
That's
right.
okay.
Don't
That's
feel
okay.
bad. Yeah, we've been enjoying this stuff too. We are learning a lot. We are understanding a lot. And I just want to get Dexter to do the thought of the week one more time, and then we're gonna ask Dr. Grant to stay with us for a couple of minutes, and we can wrap up this episode.
Okay.
It's when we invest in ourselves, we are setting the pace for personal success.
Yeah.
Gabriel could tell you about that. Dexter could tell you about that. Dr. Grant could tell you about that. I'm certainly telling you from experience. When you invest in yourself, you are setting the pace for personal success. All right? It's
Yeah.
up. So until next time, this is Andy and my co-host,
Gabriella.
and we're saying so long, Godspeed. God bless you. Remember, do all that you can to keep breaking out
Oh,
of depression. So stay with us, Dr. Grant. Hold on for a couple of minutes.
Okay. Okie doke.
All right, stand by.
Way I'm going.